is up, everybody? Love you guys. Check this out. I know we're kind of echoey today, and I hope that's okay. Welcome again to the Bowman Legacies podcast, where we're brought to you by Bowman Legacies, making life better for the blue collar person, one CEO at a time. Yeah, we coach a lot of CEOs, we coach a lot of executive staffers, and we also coach field guys. We coach foremen, superintendents, managers. You name it, we coach them. So if you are looking for somebody to help your team to move forward cohesively, speaking the same language and marching in the same direction, Bowman Legacies absolutely is the consultancy for you. All right, so today we're going to talk about lead from the middle. We're going to talk about several things. First of all, we're going to talk about what is lead from the middle. Why do we mention it so much? Why do we are constantly influencing and saying, hey, man, check out www.bowmanlegacies.com/lead from the middle. Why do we keep doing that? And what is this lead from the middle? Well, first and foremost, lead from the middle started for me personally as a coaching system that someone else taught me that. Now, Perry, who was my mentor, he didn't call it lead from the middle, just so that you know. That was not something that he called it. That's something that I called it after a while, because I realized that I wasn't the CEO. I realized that I wasn't the president of a company. I wasn't an owner of a company at the time, but I still had to lead on a high level. I still understood that I could influence cultures and I could move forward with my actions in a bad way because I'd done it for so long, the wrong way, but I could also do it the right way and then take that data and see what I could do with it. And so essentially, I began to learn that leading from the middle, leading on a high level, created in me the type of leader people needed. Right now, it's really popular to say the type of leader that people want to follow. And I understand that, but that's not who you're going to want to try to be. You don't want to be the popular vote. You want to be the type of leader people need to follow, because it's that type of leader that when people realize you are the one that's willing to make those sacrifices, you're the one that's willing to stick with the solid principles of discipline, and you're the one who's empowering people and getting the best out of them right where they're at. You're the person that they run to when the proverbial crap hits the fan. And that's the kind of leader that I wanted to be, because I understood that sometimes as a leader, you're going to make decisions that people aren't going to be happy with. And that's just the way that it is. What I wanted to do was be the type of leader that was consistent, that was proactive. And so learning this system, I decided in a situation where I was working for an organization, I was very much given a very bad situation and was told to just go fix it. I was given no budget. I was given no authority. I was given and was told that. And I was told that I couldn't argue and yell. And there's a whole gambit of things that I was told during that time. Well, here's my overarching point is I knew that in that moment I needed to do what I call lead from the middle. And I knew that's the very thing that would make a difference in these really bad situations. And inevitably it did. And it did in huge ways for people's lives that not only were altered by me leading that way and empowering them, but also saved their lives. Literally saved their lives. Many people back in those days when I was working for other companies, because of that empowerment, are now doing phenomenal things even beyond what they ever thought possible, because this idea of lead from the middle came into their lives. Well, after we started Bowman Legacies and we were coaching all these high functioning presidents and CEOs, we're coaching entry-level workers, frontline workers, we're coaching all these different people. What we discovered was, and my wife told me one day, she's like, you're this whole lead from the middle thing that you started talking about way back in the day. Well, you're teaching these people lead from the middle essentially. And I was like, yeah, that's what I'm doing. She's like, you need to write a book about this. And at first, I was just like, I don't know. How many leadership books are out there right now? And I realized that there's a bunch. And what would separate and divide mine from everybody else's? Well, I think what divides mine from everybody else's is the fact that it starts off with it's 3 a.m., my phone rings, and the guy on the other end of the line is someone I work with and has a gun in his hand, which eventually I can hear his teeth chatter against during the conversation. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. He's in California. I'm in Indiana. He's calling when he's gotten off of work and life has gotten to a place where he doesn't want to live it anymore. Spoiler alert, that's what the book Lead from the Middle is about. So, what is Lead from the Middle? Lead from the Middle is two things. One, it is a book that we wrote about that situation and how I was able to navigate through that situation because of things that I learned from a man named Perry Sanders that deeply changed me, and then I took to the next level, which I hope you take to the next level. Because it's not about my ego, it's about influence. It's about hoping that you take these lessons and just absolutely run with them. That's the desire. That's the hope. It's not about me being the best. It's about hoping that these concepts that I bring into your life rises you up to the best that you can be. And so I wrote the book, Lead from the Middle. We published that book, and people wanted more. They wanted more, and they wanted more, and they wanted more. And so I ended up coaching companies about Lead from the Middle. I ended up starting a conference called the Lead from the Middle Conference, which I thought was only going to be one conversation. And as Anita and I started to talk about it, we began to realize that she was like, no, there's more there. There's more there. So now we do what's called the Lead from the Middle Conference. So what is Lead from the Middle? It's the book, and it's the Lead from the Middle Conference. So if you are looking for your organization to have a life-altering, powerful, tear-inducing conversation, the Lead from the Middle Conference is absolutely for you. We've done it all over the country. We've done it in other countries. And what we're seeing is people's lives being changed and saved in that moment. The first chat we have is actually called Lead from the Middle. It's about the book. It's the story of the book. And we teach you some of those key principles to help you to lead on a high level. The next conversation that we have is the problem protocol. The problem protocol is something I created when I was a counselor in a non-for-profit area, when I realized these people that I was counseling were not taught how to handle conflict and problem solve. And so this is also something we teach companies that they create and make an SOP out of. Then the last and final conversation that we have is called Linking Shields, and it is a powerful, interactive chat that absolutely drives the whole thing home in such a way that people leave there with a greater sense of self and purpose and understanding of where they belong in the organization and how to teamwork and move forward, even if they don't like the guy standing to the left or the right of them. It is powerful. So what is Lead from the Middle? It's the book. It's the conference. And then finally, we were realizing people were asking for more. They were asking for more and more and more. And so we didn't know really what to do. And it took us some time to kind of figure it out. And then we started BowmanLegacies.com and the courses there. So we have a course at BowmanLegacies.com/lead from the middle that is a comprehensive leadership course. It is unpolished and unapologetic, and I'm going to tell you emphatically the feedback that we're getting is phenomenal. And what we do for these courses is a lot of times I will personally mentor your team through those courses with a once a month chat, and it can last anywhere from 6 months to a year if you want it to. And we have two different kind of drip courses, in other words, what's available to the guys. And we also have it's available on our app, the Bowman Legacies app, which is available to you where you on your app application. But what the Lead from the Middle course does is it helps you to communicate in a more intentional and precise manner. To say that it teaches you how to communicate better, which is what is on our website, is so falls so short of what it actually does. It teaches you how to be hyper aware of yourself and how you are functioning in such a way that the way that you're talking to your employees or your family at home is extremely intentional. You have a plan for everything. You're not just being that bombastic leader who's just spouting out all kinds of things. You are paying attention to the words that are coming out of your mouth, and there's a reason for them. The other thing that it teaches you is how to problem solve in real time. We don't do that. We do a lot of complaining, especially corporately. There is a tremendous amount of complaining that happens that wastes time. And I truly believe time is money. A lot of people don't like that term, but the more I'm in business, the more I ran my own business, the more I see time being wasted. I see opportunities that could have been fed in and people could have been proactive. And so we teach you how to be proactive and solve problems in real time and coach other people in your team and your family to do the same thing. We help you in this way as you are leading on a high level to gain trust with your people. Trust is important. They don't have to like you, okay? The people, excuse me for all the sniffing, I have a cold. But your people, the confusion is you know, everyone's saying, and it's so popular, and I said it before and I'll say it again, that everyone wants you to learn how to be the leader that everyone wants to follow. Namaste. Look, that doesn't work. Leaders, true leaders, have to make hard decisions. And those hard decisions affect the lives positively and negatively to some people. Great leaders understand that those decisions must be intentional. There must be a reason for everything that you're doing. Great leaders understand that those decisions also must be integral, honest decisions that you're making. But sometimes when you make those decisions, you're going to make people angry. I tell my clients this all the time. You can give a person $1 million in ones, and somebody is going to complain. Out of the 10 people you give $1 million in $1 bills, one of them will go, what am I going to do with all these thingles? Someone's going to complain. Someone's going to complain no matter what you do. With that in mind, doing the right thing consistently is important, and we teach you how to do that. And when you do that, you gain trust. We teach you how to do more with less. So many organizations that I come into now are in this fast growth period, or they're in this ideology that, well, we have to have more people. We have to gain, and we're in this feverish recruiting and retention nightmare that's been going on for many years now. And we're complaining about other generations and how they don't want to work and all these sort of things. But what we're not doing is realizing that that is not the core of your problem. So we teach you how to do more with less. In other words, we teach you how to look at your organization, look at your team in a whole new light, and cause them to produce on levels you never thought possible. We help you to do that by empowering your team. An engaged employee is an empowered employee. An empowered employee is an innovative employee. And an innovative employee learns how to work smart instead of hard, realizing that hard is not sustainable. Okay? They will themselves innovate and learn how to do more with less. We have seen this time and time again. It is with every organization that we've been a part of so far. Without question, when instituting these skills, when instituting my coaching or the Lead from the Middle platform, their people begin to do more with less. They don't work harder, they work smarter. I had an employee tell me the other day, he is just has been moved to a new position. He's been a mechanic in his lifetime. He's ran the shop in his lifetime, and now he's more of in an executive position in this very fast growing, very fast moving organization. And he told me, he says, Michael, the weirdest thing is when we first started talking, I didn't know where this was going to go. And what I've came to realize is there's so much less on my plate, and yet I'm getting so much more accomplished than I ever thought. And it's just the most bizarre thing in a natural process by which you take us to. He said, it's All of us are saying this. All of us are doing less, but we're getting more accomplished. The next thing that we're going to teach you to do is to maximize your team's talent. So many times, we as leaders are always trying to pound a square peg into a round hole. And we're trying to force things out of employees that just aren't there. All the while not looking at the giftedness and talent they do have and putting those people in positions where they can win. Here recently, I'm working for an organization. They're growing. They feel as though they need to make all these new hires. And I start to look at their org chart and it looks more like a funnel. The problem with a funnel is if you stand a funnel up at the end of its spout, what is it going to do? The spout is so narrow most of the time, like those long neck funnels, it's going to fall over because it's top heavy. And what we had to do was a reorg. So what we did was I walked them through a reorg of that organization so it was more of a horizontal view. And that really narrow funnel began to broaden. So there was more of a foundation and more of a support system there. And they did that largely in part by maximizing their team's talent. By looking at their team in such a way, they're like, I see their talent. So that is what Lead from the Middle it is. It is a book, it is a conference, and it is a coaching system that I do one-on-one with our business, or you can do even on your own at bowmanlegacies.com/lead from the middle, which is also provided to you via an app. So you can listen to these lessons in your car on the way home or on the way to work if you want to. We've tried to make it as convenient and accessible as possible. So I want to end this podcast with the why. Why leads from the middle? And I'm going to bring you back to it's 3 a.m. My phone rings. I pick up the phone. I'm very tired. I'm groggy. And I say, hey, it's Michael. I love you, buddy. I can see in your area code, so I know you're working in California, but I don't have your number in my phone yet. Who is this? And what can I do for you? I'm here to help. And I hear nothing on the other side. And as I'm striving to listen, because I have that counselor's ear, I've learned to listen to what people are not saying. I've learned to listen to what's in the background of both the human mind, the human psyche, or in the background of noise. And I hear air conditioning units popping on and off. I hear heavy traffic and I realize I know right where he's at. He's in the air conditioning units behind a concrete wall along the 101 where we had apartments. He's hidden himself and I can hear it raining. So I know I have a man who's hidden himself. I know a man who's sitting out in the open in the rain. And in the background of all that, I can hear sobbing. So now I know that I have a man who's in distress. And so I simply say, brother, you know me. If I've worked with you long enough, you know that I'm here to link shields with you. And right now, for those of you who aren't watching, you're just listening, I'm pointing at the shield on my chest right now. The Bowman Legacies sword and shield, our logo. That's what it's all about. That's the moment right there. And for that, brother, I thank you for reaching out to me and trusting me with your life. That we were able to link shields and move you forward. And that's what happened. The man had a gun in his hand and he was ready to take his life. It was over. He was done. But he's still here today, and I'm so glad and I'm so proud of him. But the only way that I was able to navigate through that serious situation and many more before and after was because a man named Perry Sanders poured into me in such a way that he taught me how to lead from the middle. And now it's so revolutionized my life, I want to teach you to do the same thing. So you can not only be the leader that people want to follow, you're going to be the leader that people need to follow. I make you this promise. At Bowman Legacies, we will forge you into the type of leader that people need when the crap hits the fan. We will teach you how to lead on a high level consistently. We will teach you how to get out of your own head so that you can not only help other people rise to their potential and live up to their greatness, but you will as well. My friends, I love you and I thank you so much. I can say I love you because if the good Lord loves me, and I know he does, I can love you right where you're at. Remember, I've got more issues in Time Magazine, so if you're looking for perfection, you're looking at the wrong guy. But the thing that I've learned is, when you build the type of legacy that will far surpass your legend, that means the type of legacy of love and care and leadership that you pour into those around you, whether that's at home, at work, or at the gas station when you're pumping gas, when you're the type of person people absolutely need to follow consistently, you build that kind of legacy. And long after you're gone, you will have inspired others to do the same, and they will carry on a piece of you with them, and it will change the world for the better. I truly believe that. I truly believe that. I am so proud of you. Keep going, keep growing, and thanks for tuning in.